Well, good afternoon to Miss Phuong Pham,
Good afternoon.
a 2016 graduate of the Crawford High School Academy of Law, and who I always referred to as one of the sharpest knives in the drawer.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
That's too
I do.
much.
So let's talk a little bit about the Academy
Okay.
to get this started. What, as you look back, do you feel were the strong points or things that you found very positive, assuming there are any, at the Academy?
There are plenty. I think that my most memorable moment was when we were filming a recording of one of our class circles. And as you know, our class was together for 3 years, and we were with the same classmates, with the same people. And I think it hit me that we really grew closer when one of our classmates shared something that was so personal to him, and he started crying in the circle that we had. And we all sat there and we shared his emotions. So that was something that that's the most memorable to me. And coming out from that, I thought, wow, I can relate to him. I can relate to someone like that. And that's just one of the many positive things that Law Academy has done for me, is when you build emotional connections with someone across, race, across ethnicity, across language, and you just get to build that bridge and connection with other classmates that I never knew could be possible. There's another thing that
Go.
Yeah, another thing that was really positive for me when I joined Academy of Law was my dream was to become a lawyer, and I still have that dream. And Law Academy made it possible for me to enjoy a lot of opportunities that I never thought I could, like having an internship at a law firm and being able to meet lawyers and talk with my mentors, with my attorney mentor, about what it takes to be a lawyer in the U.S. and what it takes to get into law school and what it takes to pass a bar. And I just thought, wow, if my attorney mentor, who was also Vietnamese like me, and who spoke my language, could do law school and could pass law school and practice law, well, I could do it too. And I thought that was just a very powerful thing to have.
I would agree. And I also remember your personal tete-a-tete with Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor.
Yes, that was the best experience I could ever ask, to be as a high schooler, to meet a Supreme Court justice and think, she was also someone like me. She spoke another language, and I think it represented that becoming a judge, even to the Supreme Court, a justice on the Supreme Court, was possible. And I don't have that far of an ambition, but but it's nice to see that someone like me can become someone like her in the future. There's always that possibility.
Well, see, to me, it was a crowning moment. When I think of your class, that was it, because you entered our class as this shy little weak person. It was so hard to get you to speak so you could be heard. And flash forward a couple of years, this conversation you had with her was at a USD conference filled with federal appellate court judges, the fellow federal district court judges, state court judges, the senior partners and heavy hitters from all the major law firms, the dean of the law school and the law faculty, and here we were, 10 high school students sitting on this table, which they put us right up in the front. And everybody there there were about 300 people, all very, very powerful folks, were asked to write a question. And she selected 7 questions, one of which was yours. I don't know if you recall, but the question was, what do you do when the law leads you to a decision that you don't agree with? And she called on you to come up, the only one, to come up to the platform to speak with her. And my heart was sinking, because this is, this was a tough public speaking job for, the most seasoned speaker. And you got up there and you had a conversation with you. It was substantive. It kept going on. They kept telling her to wind it up, but she was having such a good time. She kept your conversation going. And I was just, I was so proud of you and so relieved. I thought, oh my God, this isn't fair. You read her question, great answer. But in any event, that was a highlight of your class for me. And to now see how you have grown. And I can tell you, if you want to get into an argument with Phuong, you better keep your powder dry and get ready.
Yeah, I still remember that moment. I think I have a selfie with her, with Justice Sotomayor.
Oh, would you send that to me?
Yes, of course, of course. I think I still have it.
Great. I'd love to see that.
My dad actually saved a cutout of me and her in the papers. Yeah, we
That's
were in
right.
Papers, yes.
Yeah, there was there were several reporters, and there was a significant argument or article in the Union Tribune, and the only thing they were talking about was you and Judge Sotomayor. Boy, if you've got that article, send it to me as well.
Of course, of course.
That was, I was on cloud 9 for a week after that.
I think, as you've seen my transformation, joining Academy of Law, when you came to me at the end of freshman year, asking, hey, would you like a spot in the Academy of Law? I was all for it. You didn't have to explain to me about the benefits or anything. I was all for it. And at the end of my senior year, to have met Justice Sonia Sotomayor as a high schooler and be able to talk with her one-on-one on stage, that was once in a lifetime experience that I could never have imagined it would have been possible without the Law Academy. And I don't think I would be such an outspoken person now if it wasn't for those community building circles and the restorative practices, teen court. I would never be speaking to you like this on a podcast and putting myself out there. I would never have imagined it.
Wow. Well, so when you look back, let's be, we're looking for, circle rule, complete honesty. Obviously, you're waiving your the normal right to confidentiality. But other than that, what is, let's talk about the best and worst, or the pros and cons of the Academy as you see them looking backward.
With the opportunities that were presented to us with restorative practices and with implementing restorative practices in the school district and also internships with the law firms, I think the best was actually, it would be teen court for me, teen court. And even though, we try to have more jurors and sometimes we couldn't have enough jurors, but me always showing up to teen court because I believe that I could help someone. And I could help someone and prevent them from going to juvenile hall. And I could give someone a second chance. And that was so meaningful to me, so impactful to have that opportunity to be a juror and, to be a peer juror in someone's case. And to have you presiding as judge. But you weren't the one deciding the sentence. It was us, peer jurors. And that was a powerful thing, because we had to put ourselves into the offender's position. And it was someone that was our age, but they have made a couple of mistakes along the way. And I always thought it was so powerful for me to be able to help them to move through the mistakes that they've made, and to have a second chance, and to have them to see the parents, cry sometimes at the meetings, at the hearings. It was very moving to me. And at the end, to have the offender, the student, hug the parents to see that, we could come to a conclusion, and to have the offender commit to community service or tutoring hours to better their life. And then to have parents tell us, oh, this is someone, this is gonna really help my kid. Thank you so much for doing this. You have no idea how much you helped me. That was really moving to me. And that was the best thing that I could see, would to have an impact on someone else's life. And that was 50 cases a year, maybe. Even one is just so incredible.
I would agree. And you guys were great. Okay, on the other side of the coin, where do you think we might have been deficient? Where might we have done more or done something differently?
I think senior year would be the focus, because in senior year, a lot of the students, they don't necessarily, sometimes they don't want to go straight into law school, or sometimes that's not what their career path, or if they're uncertain about law school. What we can do is, have programs where we introduce students to community college or trade schools. If they don't want to go down the community college route, trade schools, something other than a 4-year university, but could also be beneficial to upgrading their skills and to honing on their communication, critical thinking skills that you always talk about so much. And I think to just have more options than, oh, because we Academy of Law, you're all gonna go to law school. But Academy of Law is more than that. It's about giving students hands-on opportunities that they would never get in a regular classroom, right? And I think that's would be a really great tool for seniors, especially who are maybe uncertain about college or uncertain about their future.
Very good. Very good. Now, what might the Academy have done to assist you after you graduated? Something that you think is doable and reasonable and would have been meaningful to you?
This is going to be a long answer, because I think I will have to explain, how we grew up. So along with my classmates, class of 2016, and other students from Crawford, we're growing up in City Heights, where it's an immigrant community. And we're taught from a young kid, from a child up until now, that you have to be resilient, and you have to have stubbornness, and you're going to have to deal with problems, and you're going to be without a lot of tools and resources to help, because you're an immigrant from a low income family. And since City Heights have a lot of low income families like myself, we don't necessarily have the resources possible. And coming from City Heights, a lot of my classmates at Crawford, college was not even on their mind at the time. It was more, oh, I have to get a job to help my parents pay the bills. Oh, I have to get a job to help take care of my siblings. So college was rare to have on a student's mind in City Heights. But for me, I've always wanted to go to college because I wanted to be a lawyer and to give back to my community. And so after my graduation from high school, I went to Berkeley, which was one of my dream schools back then. But I was always working. I was always working because my grants ran out and my scholarships ran out after the first year. So they weren't renewable. And after the first year, it just went downhill because I was working more than going to school. And so my grades were dropping, and I was in a very dark place because I thought, am I not enough? Do I have to work to put myself through college when I see that, my classmates at Berkeley were, riding classes through just like a wave, just very easy. And I thought that, you know what, enough was enough. And I left school, I left Berkeley, and I moved back to San Diego. But I never wanted to give up on my education. I never wanted to give up on law school or higher education. So I went to Grossmont, and still at Grossmont, I worked, but it was less because I promised myself that I would never put work above school again. And even though I'm working, it's part-time now. So I think for a lot of students that if you want to help them, for the students that are pursuing a college education, I think workshops about the reality cost of college, but also workshops about the available resources that can help them as well. Because some of these students are, like me, have a hard time accepting help and have a hard time asking for help because we grew up being taught that we have to deal with our problems ourselves and that there's no resources to really help us out because we were low-income immigrants. And so I think there's the workshops about cost of college and also the tools out there that you can reach out for help. That you can ask for help, that you should be comfortable to ask for help from your attorney mentors, from your teachers, or from the academy. That the academy is not only there for you during school, during your high school years, but also after, whether you want to pursue college or vocational schools or trade schools, and just to be there and support either maybe financially or emotionally too. I thought that would be really amazing because it's taken me a long time to accept that I can't do this by myself and that I need help. And I've reached out, and my supervisor right now is more than willing to help me, and I never thought she would be willing at my job to help me cut down on my work hours and so that I can graduate school.
You can graduate, and if I understand correctly, you have put yourself through school. You are debt free.
Yes, I am going to graduate debt free. So that's a huge burden off my shoulders because I've worked throughout my college years. And so, I figured, hey, it's a trade-off, but considering the circumstances that I had to go through and the resources that I had, I think that's a great outcome for me. And, law school is not far off in the end.
And when you say work, you were working with Alan Obregon at Amazon, right?
Yes, we worked night shifts because we wanted the daytime for our schoolwork. But that eventually didn't work out when Amazon decided to change their schedules. And we were always tired after work, because night shift is just so grueling. And we were lifting up to 50 pounds every night, walking 10, 12 miles, 16 miles a night. And we were tired, but it paid our rent.
You were working from midnight to 8 a.m. and going to school full time.
Yes.
And you were tired?
I was very tired. Yes.
Why were you tired? You had to have at least an hour or two of spare time there. No, I'm telling you, you're amazing. You've always been amazing, and it's just
thank you.
Boy, such a story of character and integrity. I'm so proud that you you're literally in today's age. I worked myself through school, but when I worked myself through school, it was like a few $100 a semester. And it was a struggle then, or it seemed like a struggle then. And with the cost today, it's amazing what you have done. And along the road, you've helped out your parents, I know. And that's an amazing job you've done. But law school is still on is still on the top of your list.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
When I was having trouble at Berkeley, I thought maybe I'm not enough for law school. Maybe law school is just out of reach. I can barely afford to put a roof on my head. But, after having lunch with you earlier and talking about how the academy is and the advisory boards were ready to help us, we're more than willing to help us either financially or emotionally or logistically to get us into law school so that we can pass the bar exam or whatever, studying for the what is it?
The
I'm
LSAT.
blanking. Yes, the LSAT. I'm sorry, I blanked on that. That really brought back my motivation and my self-confidence and think, hey, law school is still in reach. You're still on the journey. It's a journey and it's never gonna stop. It doesn't stop after graduating at a state. It doesn't stop after graduating for your bachelor's. You can still make law school. And I was thinking about it overnight, and I thought, wow, Academy of Law is not only there for me during high school, but after high school, and they're willing to help. And I was just really touched by that.
Well, yeah, we are willing to try. I don't know for sure what we can do, but we will give you support. And as far as I'm concerned, we won't leave a stone unturned to secure.
I'm sure you won't. I'm sure you won't, Mr. Lutbay.
Well, you are such a wonderful young lady, and and you deserve. You will be a good lawyer.
Thank you.
The last time it's been a while since we've talked about what you might want to do with a law degree, but my last recollection was that I think largely as a measure of teen court and the work that you were doing in the community to sort of spread the word and grow the program, that you wanted to become a prosecutor and make the justice system more just from the inside. And since you still and all of us believe in holding somebody who's made a mistake or something, intentionally done something wrong, we have to hold them accountable. But there certainly are ways to do it better than what we as a society do today. Are you still there?
I agree. Yes, I am still there. I believe, my experience with teen court and restorative practices at Academy of Law was would really help me bring a lot to the table, to the justice system, and practicing law through those lenses. And I can see myself in every one of the student offenders. I can see myself in them. And just because I didn't make a mistake doesn't mean that, just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that there's no second chances. Just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that I should go to jail for, a certain amount of time and not have any rehabilitation or any relearning programs that can help me. Just because you throw someone in jail, that doesn't help them to learn from their mistakes or rehabilitate their whole mentality.
Yeah, I think that you picked up on the theme that restorative justice is, where there's harm, where there's violation of law, that there's nothing wrong with taking a look at what's best for the community, what's best for society, instead of how can we punish or what's the appropriate punishment. At times it may be appropriate. I think they're rare, but certainly there are times. You know, you get it. You always got it. You got it from the start, even if you were afraid to talk about it to begin with. But I mean, I loved your class. It was my last class. I wasn't around for your, I wasn't around for your senior year. I met you at a couple of programs where there were, you know, restorative justice programs, and I was at graduation. But
well, we continued your work in our senior year, so
I know you did.
And just know that, you know, it really brought our class of 2016 closer to each other. You know, a lot. I don't know if you remember, but when we first joined together in sophomore year, we had a whole bunch of problems between the students, and those same students sat in a circle and wanted to sit in a circle every morning in senior year to talk about our day, talk about what our hopes are, what our dreams were, and, you know, any concerns. Or if you didn't want to talk, even the guy that didn't want to talk said something at the end. And, you know, he was also in the circle. And you just see our progression from sophomore year, you know, to bickering and not liking each other, to us, you know, whenever we had problems in the classroom, we asked for a circle and we could all voice our opinions, and no one was really punished. It was more restorative as a class, as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think I really missed that the most too.
Yeah. No, I tell you, that's why I think your class was one of my favorites, even though I was just with you for 10th and 11th
this
grade.
is going on camera.
But no, I mean, you guys were, it was like a little tornado. You know, I think it was third period every day. It was like, oh my God, here they come. And, but you know, you got out of it quick, and really by the start of your junior year, you guys were together. It didn't take all that long, but it was a lot of work.
Well, just know that in senior year, we missed you, Mr. Levy.
Oh, and I missed you guys too. All right. Well, I love having this talk with you, and I'm going to be checking in, and we'll see how you're doing. Maybe we'll do this again down the road, and see how you're progressing towards that goal, which many share with you.
I would love to, Mr.
Phuong.
Levy.
It's great to see you. And
You too.
We'll talk soon.
Of
Okay.
course.
Great. Have a good one.
You too.